This is CBS.
Konstantin Chernenko this morning is laid to rest in Moscow. In the Twin Cities, another shipment of spent nuclear fuel rods passes through the area with protesters there to see it.
The homeless get some help today as Hennepin County sets aside more than $500,000 for their cause. And today we'll be talking to a local man who's helped make the hit movie Blood Simple. These stories and the rest of the day's news are next on the Noon Report.
It's the way it should be. A kiss, a glance, it's hot, it is cool. A smile, a chance, it's breaking a rule. It's just how you feel when you know it's for real. It's a hit, it's a song. Who is it? Who is it?
Patrick Duffy's planning to leave Dallas, but there's a secret plot twist that could bring him back to Victoria. The full story's in this week's Star magazine. Also, there's Tina Turner's lonely climb back to stardom, how Dr. Pritikin's diet helped him live for 26 years. The Star has it all.
They've rounded up the mafia bosses, but what about their women? I'll tell you their secret fears.
And Princess Stephanie's in trouble, too, over revealing photos that have made her father frantic. No wonder everyone's picking up the new Star magazine.
Wednesday at 4:30, meet a Twin Cityan who's a hit in Paris on PM Magazine. Find out how Terry Shane's modeling career transformed her into a star on Parisian TV. Then go behind the scenes at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts and discover another side of the art world. And meet a weightlifting mom who plans to muscle her way into a stage career in Vegas. Wednesday on PM Magazine at 4:30 on Channel 4.
Serving and informing the Twin Cities for 4 decades. This is WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul. And now, Bill Carlson, Debbie Ely, Bud Kraehling, and Tony Parker bring you Channel 4's Noon Report.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Hennepin County Board of Commissioners has taken a giant step to improve living conditions of the county's homeless.
This morning, they voted to set aside $550,000 to upgrade and improve services for homeless shelters. Mark Watts joins us with that story. Mark?
Bill, it's a new solution to an old problem in Hennepin County, and commissioners say this is a workable solution, whereas other plans have failed in the past. All 7 commissioners voted in favor of the resolution this morning. It was authored by Commissioner Mark Andrew, who has spearheaded the fight to house the homeless the last 2 years. Today's resolution earmarks the $550,000 to be spent towards renovating existing structures. Many of these buildings don't even meet housing codes.
Some really historic things have happened with the county's approval of this program. First of all, we have initiated at the county level a major redevelopment housing program for people with dysfunctional problems. This has never been done before.
As Andrew said, the money will also go to the mentally ill who live in the shelters, but before it can be spent, there has to be matching funds from the city, the state, or local foundations. The city of Minneapolis would then develop a program that the county must approve before the plan is ever put into action. And Bill, Commissioner Andrew is confident that this will all take place in about the next 2 months.
Confident?
Yes.
He has a feeling that the city will go along with it.
He's very confident. City Council member Brian Coyle and Steve Kramer have been working with him on this program, and they've been collaborating before it all went to the county board. Today it was pushed through, and everybody's just very happy.
Brand new approach. Thank you very much, Mark. Debbie?
Bill, this morning a group called Jobs Now released the second part of its study on the Meade Jobs program. It focuses on Minnesota's investment in people, jobs, and communities. Now, the first part of the study centered on Meade private employers. Jobs Now coordinator Monty Butte joins us from our St. Paul newsroom with more on this. Monty, thank you for joining us today.
Good afternoon.
Why don't we start out by telling everybody what Meade actually is?
Meade is the Minnesota Emergency Employment Development Act. It was $100 million over 2 years that was devoted in the state and has put 23,500 people to work. It's a unique partnership, particularly between small business and unemployed people whose unemployment compensation has run out.
And what has the second part of this study found?
The second part of the study is Mead Works. And what it's found, I think the biggest fact was that in agricultural disaster areas, those rural farm crisis areas, and in Duluth and the Iron Range, tremendous numbers of private jobs were placed. 73% in the farm crisis areas were private jobs, and 72% in Duluth, 64% on the Iron Range. Also, we found that this program has done an exceptional job of taking welfare recipients off the welfare rolls and putting them to work. 45% of the people who have gotten jobs have been general assistance eligible.
You're obviously a big supporter of this program. Who else is supporting it?
Well, our coalition is broad. It has labor, religious, civic organizations, 33 groups, but we're now finding lots of support in the business community, particularly the small business community. We now have 9 chambers of commerce around the state, and we expect quite a few more that have endorsed the refunding. The bill is being heard tomorrow. We're asking for $65 million to revamp this program, keep it going, and keep helping provide jobs with small businesses, permanent jobs for the unemployed in the state.
All right. Monty, thank you for joining us today. Alan Cox will have more on this story on our news tonight.
Thanks.
4 people involved in an Eden Prairie flight service are expected to be arraigned today in what officials are calling the biggest fraud case in Minnesota history. A federal indictment says the Flight Transportation Company, or FTC, misled investors into losses totaling as much as $24 million. Those charged are FTC's President William Rubin, Chief Financial Officer Janet Karkey, Comptroller Brian John Miller, and Minneapolis Attorney James Francis McGovern. The indictment says FTC inflated the company's value and then put that value on the market for public stock sale. In other words, selling part of the company that did not exist. We get more from Tony Bigneri.
For more than 3 years, the FBI plowed through the records of FTC. What they found, according to the indictment, was a company that existed mostly on paper. For example, a group charter operation to the Grand Cayman Islands did not exist, although on paper it was reported to bring in millions. The indictment alleges that a fleet of aircraft that FTC supposedly used also did not exist.
One of those aircraft, known as a Jetstar, was used fraudulently to obtain $3.87 million in loan proceeds from Northwestern National Bank in March of 1982.
The indictment also points out that the officers of the company filed false statements with the Securities and Exchange Commission when they put up more than $30 million in stock that did not exist, and that they obtained operating funds for the company through illegal check kiting. Company President William Rubin is also accused of skimming off several $1 million for his own purposes. Rubin or Jane Karkey could not be reached for comment, but attorney Doug Thompson spoke on behalf of his client, Brian John Miller.
This has been an ongoing investigation for over 2 years, and so usually with that amount of effort directed towards one end of attempting to secure it, I suppose it doesn't come to any surprise or any shock that they finally, after that period of time, obtain an indictment.
A footnote to this story, the 3 company officers, if convicted, would face more than 300 years in prison and fines totaling more than $500,000. The Minneapolis lawyer would face a maximum of 5 years and a $10,000 fine. Bill?
It apparently rolled through town again, and again there were protests, but no incidents. It is the 6th shipment of spent nuclear fuel from NSP's Monticello nuclear power plant to a storage site in Morris, Illinois. The train passed through the Twin Cities about 11 o'clock. About 15 or 20 protesters were on hand, and there will be more protesting as the train makes its way through Wisconsin today. Kenneth Keller, interim president of the University of Minnesota since August, is expected to be offered the permanent position today. The regents will interview Keller publicly this afternoon and will probably vote on his appointment immediately after the interview. Keller came to the U of M as an assistant professor in 1964. Debbie?
Today in Moscow, Vice President Bush met with the new Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev. It follows this morning's funeral for Konstantin Chernenko, held in the Red Square. Thousands turned out to bid farewell to the Soviet leader who was in power for only 13 months. He died Sunday after a bout with emphysema, among other ailments. He was 73.
The whole grain wheat isn't enough. The golden honey isn't enough. The pure bran and slow baking with no added preservatives isn't enough to call this wheat bread Home Pride. What makes it Home Pride is real creamery butter. Home Pride splits each loaf, then pours on real creamery butter and lets it bake right in. It gives our wheat bread a taste that's really special. Home Pride Butter Top Wheat. Nature's best ingredients, baked better with butter. Now try delicious new Home Pride 7-grain, too.
Here comes another Embers Better Than Coupon 24-hour meal deal. Brace yourself, because you can have breakfast 24 hours a day for just $1.99. And they mean a big jumbo breakfast. 2 eggs, 2 pancakes, 2 slices of bacon, and 2 sausages. The 24-hour jumbo breakfast, 7 days a week, just $1.99 at Embers Family Restaurants. Available at all Embers locations, where your satisfaction is guaranteed. Oh, and you don't even need a coupon.
At the optical department at Sears, every stylish frame in our entire regular stock is half price when you buy prescription lenses. The optical department at Sears.
We're kind of used to this kind of stuff, and we just thought we'd use a little imagination, see what we could come up with instead of damaging the airplane.
Well, maybe so, but this time for stunt pilot Scott Gordon, it was for real. In St. Augustine, Florida, Gordon was trying to land but realized that his right landing gear had not dropped. Well, airport workers first tried to land the plane on a moving flatbed truck, and when that didn't work, they borrowed a sports car, and at speeds of more than 100 miles per hour, a mechanic reached up and muscled the gear down. The plane landed, and fortunately, nobody was hurt. I can't say as though I would have wanted to be on that plane.
Almost as exciting as watching the snow move into the metro area this morning. Snow starting about 1 this morning over the west central part of Minnesota, moving to the east at 35 miles an hour, ending first in the western suburbs, continuing on a little longer, the eastern edge of the metro area. Generally 1 to 2 inches of snow from central Minnesota to the east central part of the state. Officially at the airport station, it was 1.8. And now it is sunny over Minnesota. There's some mixture of light rain and snow to the east of us, well, from Madison, of Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Chicago. Sunny over Minnesota. Temperatures 37 at Duluth, 37 at Rochester, 38 in the metro area, and 40 degrees and sunny at St. Cloud. Our forecast for the Twin Cities, mostly sunny for the afternoon, maximum temperature at 43. A little later on, more of our off-again, on-again, spring and winter weather.
That story, and one of those guys is with us today to talk about the movie. It's a mystery entitled Blood Simple. Our guest today is Joel Coen, who directed and is listed as a co-writer of the movie. He, I think, probably helped buy the hamburgers, and he did. You've been involved right from the beginning, haven't you, Joel?
Yeah. It was really Ethan and my brother Ethan and I who wrote the script together and sort of put together the original package for the movie, and then Dan Buchanan, also from here in Minneapolis, who helped us produce and finance the movie.
And you've lived in the Twin Cities, with the exception of the time you spent it in New York going to college.
Right. I moved to New York to go to film school at New York University, and actually I've been living there for the most part since then. Grew up here in Minneapolis, though.
You know, the comments from people in the business, I guess, are encapsulated in a new issue of Film Comment, which says they don't make movies like beginners, which I guess has been the surprise and the response of most people. We have a short clip. You're just going to get an idea of the tone of the motion picture Blood Simple here. Let's take a look at this clip from the movie. Scary. You spend a lot of time meticulously creating those tension-building things, which, of course, is what Alfred Hitchcock became famous for. Is he one of your...
Oh, definitely. I don't think you can make a murder movie now without owing a lot to Hitchcock, since he sort of invented the genre. So, yeah, I'm sure we owe plenty to Hitchcock.
And the title to Dashiell Hammett.
And the title to Dashiell Hammett, right.
Which said that anybody who performs a murder...
Sort of goes simple in the slang sense of crazy. really.
It is a motion picture that's making a lot of noise all over the country. It's going to be previewed at the Walker Arts Center tonight.
Right.
And then a special screening tomorrow night, and then right after that, all Twin Cityans will be able to see it.
Right, it'll be opening on this Friday.
Joel, congratulations to you, to your brother, and to the rest of the Twin City crew.
Thanks a lot.
And thanks for being here today. Joel Coen. Tournament basketball takes over page 1 in the sports section today. Tony Parker just ahead on the Noon Report.
Here are some simple projects you can start and finish this weekend. Just get some Formby's furniture refinisher and refinish anything from an old chest to a desk. Formby dissolves old varnish, lacquer, and shellac. Anyone can do it.
Formby's products are available at these and other fine stores.
So try a weekend project you'll proudly show off on Monday morning.
Homer Formby. No one knows wood as good.
Look, it's coming! It's here! New Snuggle fabric softener for the dryer. Snuggly softness that's really less expensive. With me, the clothes that touch you are more than just soft. They're fluffy. Never, ever staticky. And, everything's snuggly fresh. You'll see.
Try new Snuggle for the dryer in easy-to-snap-off sheets. Snuggly softness that's really less expensive.
Relax, unclutter your mind. Concentrate on nothing but the uncooler. Picture it pouring over ice, clear and light, unlike any other. Now taste it, unmistakably crisp and clean, with no caffeine. Go ahead, savor it. Now when I snap my fingers, you'll wake up feeling totally refreshed. 7-Up, the uncooler.
I wish Mommy was here.
Who do you think made Mommy feel better when she was your age?
You, Grandpa?
Over 20 million times every year, people bring their prescriptions to a Kmart pharmacy.
2 teaspoons?
That's what the label says.
For top brand name pharmaceuticals or generic equivalents were allowed.
Feels better.
And advice from trained professionals, all at a Kmart price.
I thought this might make you feel better, too.
You can't do better than Kmart.
Interest rates for credit cards may be on the rise. The Minnesota House Commerce and Economic Development Committee has approved a bill to allow the rates to go up. Currently, large retailers may charge only 16%. The bill would raise that limit to 18%. Debbie?
Bill, this morning the Commerce Department reported that retail sales for the month of February showed a strong increase. Sales were up 1.4%, with department stores making major gains. It is the largest monthly increase since November. Students who go to business schools are often taught a lot of management theory, but our guest today says to throw out all that theory, at least most of it. He is Harold Janine, the former chairman of one of the world's largest conglomerates, ITT. Thank you for joining us today.
Real pleasure, Debbie.
Throw out management theory, then how do you manage a company?
By finding out what the facts are and quite a bit of hard work and work with the people.
Mm-hmm.
If you get them to succeed, you'd be surprised you succeed.
How did you run ITT?
Well, I should say at times some desperation, but mostly by really digging into the things. We acquired some 250 companies, and we welded them all into one company, largely by bringing the people together. We cut out about 3 layers of this old-fashioned management, and it just worked. We had a room, I got to tell you about that, block long, half a block wide, and made us put fire lanes to the table. Once a month, we got in there for a whole week and beat all our problems down to the facts. That's really how we did it and how we ran that many companies.
We just saw some pictures of you. One was at a cluttered desk, and the other picture was standing in front of what looked like a file cabinet made out of attaché cases. Maybe you should explain those pictures.
Oh, that's my containerized office, so I can get away weekends. Cluttered desk is what happens, in my opinion, to anybody that works hard. The theory that they have a cluttered mind is a little overdone. Mm-hmm. I always think if they got a clean desk, somebody else is doing the work.
And yet I understand somebody told you not too long ago that they don't have a cluttered desk because they put it all into their computer.
That was a newspaper person who had it all on the computer, General Eisenhower used to take it all out and put it in his drawer and shut the drawer before the guy came in, then take it back out again.
Obviously, you believe in working some very long days.
Yes, I do. You know, I keep hearing that. Workaholic is the term. Doesn't the media people work kind of hard, by the way?
Yeah, that's true.
Secret, eh? All right.
We get comp days.
All right. No, but that's really what we did. And we grew the company from, about 500 million, 600 million to eventually about 18 billion. We took our European group from 300 million to 8 billion. Never bought a company to do that, just little companies, really. All by what we did with the book.
I was going to say, all of your secrets are contained in a new book called Managing, and it's available at the local bookstores. And one last question. You have to have had a very understanding wife to do all of this.
Yes, she was. She understood what she had to do, but, you know, it's been a happy 35 years. I can't really complain. Maybe she could.
Okay. Harold, thank you very much for joining us
Debbie,
today.
real pleasure. Thank you.
It sounds like you did it by being a real human being and being very realistic. Some sports coaches could take a good lesson from that, it seems to me.
Well, you're talking 18 hours a day, he's talking sports coaching.
Yeah, right.
You live it, you eat it, you sleep it, the whole works.
And love it.
And speaking of sports, folks, if you're not into hoops this week, that basketball that is, then you're going to be out of it for the next 10 days or so. Starting tomorrow, the girls' high school tournaments, Class A and AA, will be played, and the boys meet for the state championships next week. There'll be 4 opening round games in girls' AA tomorrow at the Minneapolis Auditorium, and 4 in Class A in Met Center. The balance of the championship games, that is Friday and Saturday, will be played at the Met. The defending boys' AA champs from White Bear Lake took another giant step toward a berth in next week's show. The Bears advanced to the region finals with a 62-46 win over Mounds View last night. Larry Ogden got the reverse slammer there. The top-ranked Bears were led by number 41, though, Dan Perrin, who hit from everywhere as White Bear broke it open in the final period to take it going away. The Bears will now meet Columbia Heights. Columbia Heights had a tougher time winning its game last night. It went 2 overtimes. John DeMars put the Highlanders ahead by 2 with just 3 seconds left in the first overtime. But DeMars fouled Greg Spaniel of Irondale, and Spaniel calmly dropped in 2 free throws to send it into another extra period. But Columbia Heights dominated the rest of the way and won 64-58, with Charlie Otterness putting them ahead to stay with this layup coming up. The Highlanders now have to face the White Bear Lake team in Saturday's region final. That'll be played in Minneapolis Auditorium. So I got a couple of trivia questions for you today. First, who holds the all-time individual scoring record for University of Minnesota basketball? Answer, Laura Coen. Last week, Laura became the first player in Gopher history to break the 2,000-point barrier. Yesterday, she was named the Big Ten Player of the Week and a member of the All-Big Ten team, and there's a good chance she'll be co-winner of the Big Ten Player of the Year award. Trivia question number 2, who holds the single-game scoring record for the Boston Celtics? Nope, it's not Kevin McHale. He held the record with 56 points for about a week. Larry Bird wiped that out last night, scoring 60 points in Boston's 126-115 victory over Atlanta. Other sports going on this weekend, of course, the Gopher women gymnasts trying to get from second place last year to a title this year in the Big Ten. The return of Laurie Kaiser, who's been out for about a month with injury, should help Minnesota's cause. And if you wanted to head to Duluth to see the Gophers and the Bulldogs in that 2-game hockey playoff, forget it. All tickets were sold out in something like 30 minutes after they were put on.
It doesn't surprise me. It's a big thing there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Tony. We'll check in with Bud again in just a moment when the Noon Report continues.
Dad, are all potatoes grown in Idaho?
Heck no, son. Just the best ones.
Oh, Dad.
You think about it. Idaho has got rich volcanic soil that no other state has. Or it could be our long, warm days or our cool, crisp nights. Could be our pure air, clear, fresh streams.
When you want the right potato, you know just where to go. So look for the seal that says it's real, genuine Idaho.
Delicious.
You sure are teaching him right.
Some breads look like D'Italiano, but they don't taste like D'Italiano. D'Italiano has the taste and texture of real Italian bread. It even has real sesame seeds. So it's the perfect bread for Italian ham, pepperoni, sausage and peppers, even such old Italian favorites as corned beef, tuna fish, and American cheese. So if you want a hearty sliced bread that gives any food a delicious Italian accent, insist on real D'Italiano, only from Tasty.
The unsold airplane seat. Until now, nobody flew in it. the unsold cruise cabin. Until now, nobody sailed in it. But now, with this card as a member of DTI, you can buy unsold travel space and save up to 60% off the regular price. If you can travel on 6 weeks' notice or less, you should call now for free information about this unusual travel club. While everyone else is paying full fare rates for exciting trips to all parts of the world, DTI members pay only a fraction of the regular rate for the same trip and the same guaranteed reservations. You are invited to join the club, so call now for free information about DTI, where the world is on sale every day of the year. Here's the number.
For free information in the mail about DTI membership, call 800-251-9400. The call is free, 800-251-9400.
Everybody in Fridley knew what this was, and everybody, it seemed like we didn't know what to do about it, and it really was a thing that hurt us a lot.
The #1 health club in Fridley is closed today after police padlocked the doors on court order. Protesters had been picketing the club for months after several prostitution arrests were made there. Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak is on his way back home, empty-handed. Mubarak had proposed U.S.-Palestinian peace talks, but President Reagan rejected that idea in favor of joint talks with Israel. And in New York, the so-called subway vigilante, Bernard Goetz, has been re-indicted on criminal charges of shooting 3 youths who accosted him.
I want to tell everybody the bonded plovers have returned to the area. You might know them by its other name, the killdeer.
Well, welcome back.
It's nice to have them back with us again. It has the 2 neck bands. This is the bird that feigns a leg injury or a wing injury when you get near its nest. It kind of limps around a little bit. That's the killdeer. And it's a nice sunny day to have the killdeer back with us again. A little bit of ice floating down some of the streams. Temperature is at 38 degrees. The Twin Cities, 62% humidity. Wind northwest at 17. And the barometric pressure is at 29.93 with the pressure steady. Sunny, 38 degrees in the Twin Cities. And here's the low pressure center that brought us the snow. Started early this morning, about 1 o'clock, lasted about 7. It's right in here over the Oklahoma-Texas Panhandle. Had a nice pipeline from there right up into the 5-state area. And that trough has moved over into eastern Wisconsin. There's still a little light rain in eastern Wisconsin down to the northern part of Illinois. So that's what happened. A little snow in the northeast today. No shocks of early morning temperatures, mostly in the 20s and 30s over the upper Mississippi Valley. The minimum in the Twin Cities has been 33 degrees, and incidentally this morning officially at the airport station 1.8 inches of snow. Here's the forecast for temperatures for the afternoon. That low will be still to the south of us, the trough into the eastern part of Wisconsin, so there's rain along the trough, snow the northern side. Boston for the afternoon temperature will be in the 50s. And in the 70s from Atlanta back through the Tucson area, in the 40s from Denver up through the Billings area, and San Francisco, afternoon temperature at 61, and sunny San Francisco. In the metro forecast this afternoon, it's mostly sunny, temperature 43, northwest winds 10 to 20. Tonight, mostly clear, 23 for our minimum. Northwest winds at 5 to 15, and for tomorrow, that should be Thursday there. Sunny to partly sunny with a temperature at 44 degrees. We don't want to go back to Tuesday anymore. We're going to Thursday.
Let me see that forecast. There is no snow, no slush,
clear,
no
partly
rain.
Cloudy, no temperatures in the 40s, 23 tonight, northwest winds. It's a great, grand combination.
Any man who calls a killdeer banded plover, though, could be confused about other things as well. Sure.
Well,
that
on
about
that
winds
note,
it up, huh?
let's close today's Noon Report. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow.
Be with our colleagues at 5, 6, and 10.
We're your Blade X sales team. We and your dealer want your cornfields to be weed-free. All we ask is that you use Blade X at today's rates. We're so sure you'll be pleased with the weed control that we stand behind Blade X with our Satisfied Performance Agreement, which means if you're not satisfied, we'll respray your fields at no cost to you. Sound fair? Yeah! It is. So see your dealer and believe in Blade X. We stand behind it.
The whole grain wheat isn't enough. The golden honey isn't enough. The
pure bran and slow baking with no added preservatives isn't enough to call this wheat bread Home Pride. What makes it Home Pride is real creamery butter. Home Pride splits each loaf, then pours on real creamery butter and lets it bake right in. It gives our wheat bread a taste that's really special. Home Pride Butter Top Wheat. Nature's best ingredients, baked better with butter. Now try delicious new Home Pride 7-grain, too.
Do I like cheese?
Introducing County Line cheese.
Back when me and my brothers was just about his size, Mom would pack us cheese sandwiches. Then, while they was off swimming, I'd eat all of them sandwiches.
County Line asked an expert about its old-fashioned taste.
Now, this County Line really takes me back some.
At County Line, we believe the old ways are still the best ways to make old-fashioned taste so good.
I like this cheese.
County Line, old-fashioned and proud of it.
WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul.